Settlement Item Echo, the review of summer concert series and community events. Trustee Becker, discussion on 2022 summer concert series costs, fireworks celebration.
Sure. As the years have gone by, I've wondered, and other people have wondered, how much do we pay for all this stuff, whether it's the concerts or the fireworks and such. So as I like to do, kind of drill down and get to some of the detail and kind of pull back the veil a little bit and let people know. So I'll just start with the fireworks. That's kind of the quickest and easiest here. So Union Township is investing $20,000 in that event. The partners with us to help cover some of the event costs are Jungle Gyms as well as Crossroads Church. So they're $5,000 each. So again, the township's in for $20,000, and we, just for the record, we are the sole sponsor of the fireworks. So the concert series. So and all this kind of stuff, I really want feedback from the public. Is this something we want to continue? I mean, it's your money. Or do you want to do something different? I'm wide open, so whatever you all want. So just to kind of so go over the concert series. So what we did was, and apparently this was all set up last year, we contracted with Leroy Ellington Productions, and they brought in or found for us 7 different bands. So we paid Leroy Ellington $9,500. So just doing the math, 9,500 divided by 7, we're paying $1,357 per band of those 7. We had a total of 12 events. So those 7 bands were the Varner Netherton Revival, Strange Love, The Gamut, Model Behavior, Kevin McCoy Band, Tom the Torpedoes, and 3 Day Rule. Again, those are $1,357 each. The other events on here, you had, actually our most expensive one was the Billy Rock Band. And they were a good band. Unfortunately, we had a rainy day. There was maybe 6 or 8 people. Cost per participant was pretty high that day. So that was unfortunate. Our first concert was also rainy. I think there was maybe a dozen people that day. So, that's the risk you take when you're doing outdoor events. So the other concerts or events on here, we got the Cincinnati Shakespeare Company. That quote-unquote free event cost you $1,200. The cheapest ones, which based on attendance, I would say are the best deal. They're not the best attended, but if you look at the cost and cost per attendee, it's the best deal. That's a Cincinnati Brass Band was $600. The Monday Night Big Band was $840. The Sycamore Community Band was $400. So if you were to add in staff cost for these concerts as well, so that would be the service department. They do a great job, setting up things, taking out the trash at the end of the night, that sort of thing. Justin doing the TV productions for us. That all was another $7,800 it looks like. The 12 performances was $14,540, brought us to a grand total, around numbers, I'm just going to call it $22,800. So that was the concert series of 12 events, plus the staff cost, $22,400. And again, the fireworks show is costing us $20,000.
Question, was the $22,400 inclusive of that $9,500?
Yes.
So so we're contracting out to Leroy Ellington LLC $9,500
Yes.
to book bands.
Yes.
And these are bands that are community bands in my mind. We'll hear from the residents on this, but bands in my mind that we also compete for with, like a band that maybe booked at RJ's or another restaurant or establishment around the township. Not necessarily more of a national act or something more to spur community economic investment dollars being spent here, or people coming out to see from a bigger standpoint. So anyway, just wanted to hear that. You said $600 bands, maybe $600, but when you factor in that fixed cost, $9,500 per band, I mean over the cost of the band.
Well, no,
The fixed cost overall that's spread.
The $9,500 was the cost for 7 bands.
Okay.
So that's a booker that then handles getting those 7 bands
Yeah,
together, and then they
more
pay
than
them that.
$1,000 a band for signing a contract. I don't,
So in,
I think that's something we need to look at moving forward. If that's been, I mean, I don't know how eclectic or nationwide this LLC is for that, but that's, yeah, that's kind of astounding, 9,500 as far as the value of return there, so, okay. And then the other thing you said was 22,400 then in total.
Yeah.
And I'd honestly put did you talk about, you were talking about a cost per attendee, but did you get to what you presume that cost is, or it's broken out between different events, or? Because I view this from one segment too, I'm just gonna lead into this. I view it from a population standpoint, because I know, without a doubt, and this isn't just as just a fact, I believe that we attract the same population, probably plus or minus 10–15%. You're probably 150 people plus or minus on a bell curve there. So it's really $22,400 grabbing an impact of 150 people, potentially the same 150 people. I'm just thinking about it from a data perspective versus 150 people times 12 events or however it may be, and you get to a bigger number. But if I go to every single show, it's my benefit, and that's great, but there are things to look at that brings in a better access to be able to get township services and a rapport with residents. If it's from bands to a national act to a movie night to this kind of discussion I've had personally with Susan in the past. So anyway, I think this is beneficial, your deep dive into this, so thank you.
Yeah, so also, and I was kind of looking, as I was initially looking at the numbers and asking myself, well, is that a good deal? It's like, well, what's that cost per person? Well, obviously it depends on attendance. So if you say, if you take just kind of, so how do you average in the two nights that it rained? I don't know. So if you take, say, 100 people per night, and one night I did actually sit there and count them, and I think it was like 130. I think it was a Shakespeare event. And that Shakespeare event is popular. It seems to be a little better populated than some of the other ones. But just if we even take the average at 100, that's still coming out to like $18 per ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know what it costs to buy a concert ticket these days, but I'm thinking $18 is a pretty good deal, per person that actually attends.
And
So, and it's up to the public to decide, you tell us, is that a good deal?
And I'll also caveat that too, as far as what the band is and who the band is, because if it's a band that you see for free while you buy a burger and fries or something that's somewhere, locally, and it's a, restaurant that's taking that cost, then they're doing an aspect of their business model to support their business.
Well,
So,
something to consider with all this is these bands, or in Shakespeare, I mean, they're bringing in people from out of town, at least some extent. While they're here, we're hoping they're shopping at, Jungle Gyms or down at the RJ's, drinking a beer or whatever, that are spending money here in the community.
Yeah,
So, the merchants appreciate that, of course.
right. But are we getting the biggest, the maximum, return on investment there? Susan, I see you're nodding your head. You want to add a comment?
I think this is a great discussion to have. I think as we go through the winter months, we will finalize what we want to do for next year. I think these type of community events are frankly very important. Even if it's $18 an attendee or whatever, these types of events are important. It keeps the community an option to get together. It gives us some, events and things that I think are important. But I do think there might be some ways to help modernize some of what we're doing. One of the things we've talked about, and I didn't mention the Parks and Recreation Committee is meeting tomorrow again. One of the things they mentioned is potentially we promote some events in the parks, movie nights in the parks, maybe trick or treat, things like that. I would love to see some input from groups like that to be able to say, hey, what are some events that we think community members would like to go to? Maybe we don't do just 10 concerts or whatever it is every week in the summer, but we spread out more of a year's worth of community events. And it's some concerts here and there, it's some movies in the park, it's an Easter egg hunt for the kids somewhere. It's spreading out some more of those events to different locations, different areas, different times, and use some similar budget numbers, but spread it out in a different way. So if it's okay with you, I would love to talk to that group a little bit about some feedback. Also, if there are members of the public that would love to reach out to me, I'd love to hear it, talk about what you would love to see for community events. Do some outreach that way, and then we'll come back in the winter and have a discussion about what we want to see and maybe some planning for a better slate of events for the year.
That sounds great. I'm going to say, because it's on the top of my mind, as you're talking about the weather events and those issues, I think it's a great, look and research it with staff, the pros and cons, but what's the flexibility there that if it's going to be a storm night, but there's a band booked, or there's an event booked, or there's something that's booked that's here, that people can either, one, be, flexibly redirected to the gymnasium that we have, and use that as the civic center, and there's a concession stand in there, phenomenal. Or, I know from our discussions in the past with, my discussions anyway with Crossroads leadership, they want to see their building get used more and more and more. And I think there would be a great avenue. They've got stage quality, production capabilities, and the parking lot's right here. So you still come to the same location, but there may be some signage up that says, due to the inclement weather, go down these steps and into Crossroads.
Great.
And stay dry. And, I think that's a great way to just work with and collaborate with our partners.
Sure.
The resources that we have. Yes, Mr. Dills.
Ms. Ayers, I agree. We'll talk about this more in the months to come. But tell me if I'm wrong. I think, but with us, if we partner with a marketing company, but I think our marketing of these concerts is, I'm trying to think of a nice word to use. I just think it's kind of weak. Is that okay? So we Facebook, we have the scrolling marquee signs, and then we have the trifold signs, which, by the way, I get, oh, Joe Dills, are you playing in a band this weekend? What is this, And I get this all the time. I think it should be the band and what genre of music, something like that. I don't necessarily need my name on these trifold signs everywhere, but just my personal thoughts. But if I'm going to go to a place that's got a band, I want food. And the food truck being 500 yards away, and I'm probably exaggerating, it's too far away. It doesn't make sense logistically. I think it needs to be down there, right there by the main drive. Let's put some electrical units in there to get those trucks hooked up. And then also, I personally, like, my kids hate it going to these concerts. I mean, just they hate it. And so, and I have to twist their arm to go with me because it's not fun for them. So definitely family movie nights, sporadically. And I think a one-time purchase of the screen and the projector, one time, purchase it, and then therefore it's, I don't want to say free, but it's free after that once we buy it. I mean, for the next several years, I mean, except for maintenance of the equipment. But, yeah, just a few ideas. And then, yeah, I'd like to see a bigger name, I know, personally, I'd like to see less concerts and a bigger name, one bigger name instead of, just me personally, but public might disagree with me on that part. But family movie night is definitely huge, because I don't think kids really have a good time at these things. It's not really a family place, so, but, and ice cream truck too, so, for me, but, all good, that's all I got, sir.
Hey, no, those are all fantastic points. I mean, I'm with you on the signage. So, yeah, I think the staff research and look into that. That's obviously, this is a year where it's like the foundation was set previously, and it's just, but now we have an opportunity to seek engagement, get involvement from the residents, and be able to make some changes, and, build it one block at a time moving forward should be great. And I'm with you. I'm thinking the $9,500 is better well spent on administration booking bands, and then $9,500 going into promotion, and, paid for channels at least to get the return there versus a production to sign those bands. No, that's great. So thank you.